Have you ever wondered how the government controls the birth rate in a country? So here I'm going to tell you a few things that you're going to learn that you're not going to see in any other place. So basically, when you have a government, let's say that the government wants more people to smoke or to drink or anything like that, they will reduce the taxes, so that way people, or eliminate the taxes so people can drink as much as they want, smoke as much as they want. And what they are going to allow is, okay, now you can do advertisement everywhere, so you don't have any restrictions or anything like that, and then you're going to have more smokers everywhere. So what happens when the government doesn't want you to do a X thing, or maybe they want you to, they don't want you to prohibit something, but instead of doing it, like directly, they are very subtle in the way they do it. For instance, you have China, for instance, they say, okay, you cannot have more than 1 or 2 kids, and if you have more, you have to pay a tax, and it's by law, and that's it. You like it, take it or leave it. That's it. So there is no other way around it. But most of the other countries, they are more subtle, so they do something else. They do everything through law, and they're not going to tell you these things, because in the indoctrination camps, they're not going to teach you these type of things. Also, they keep changing the rules of the game all the time. So now there is one law, tomorrow is another one, and tomorrow the same law change it in something else, and it happens all the time. So people, you're young, I would like to know this type of information when I was younger, but it is never late to learn. So these things I want you to know, because if you're going to get married, this is something that is going to be very important to know this information in advance, so that way you're going to prevent all the risks that I'm going to talk about in this case later in the video. So what I was trying to say is, for instance, if the government wants to promote more cars, more green cars, they're going to say, okay, you pay less taxes on electric cars or hybrid cars or something like that. Or if the government doesn't want any of that, but they want more revenue, what they are going to say is, well, we don't care about being green, we're going to tax you more. So for instance, here to 2021, Ohio, at least for now, I have a green car, I have a hybrid car, and I have to pay just for the tax extra $100, just because it's a hybrid car. If it's hybrid or electric, you have to pay 50%, $100 more. So if you have a regular car, you don't have to pay any of that. So maybe next time people would say, well, why should I pay more when I can get, just maybe a regular car, and that's it. So for instance, let's say that maybe you don't drive that much. Why would you get a more ecological car, a green car, instead of a regular car? So it depends. Like I said, it's not always what they want you to know. If they want more, it's not always what they appear to say. Okay, yes, we want more green energy, more green everything, but if they want more revenue, they will say, well, just forget it. give me your cash, give me your fiat, and then just let's forget about being green. So that is one of the things. For instance, like I said before, if in China they force everything, they say, they are blunt, they say, okay, no more kids, just maybe one. And if you have more than one, you have to pay more taxes. And here they are going to say, well, we're not going to tell you anything, just when it's too late, you're going to find out about all these things, because they don't make any publicity about saying about this on the news, or any announcement saying, okay, be aware, if you get married and you get divorced, you're going to get screwed. So nobody is going to tell you that. Most people, they find out about these things when it's kind of too late, but hopefully it's not too late for you. So when you marry. Most people, they don't know, but it's like you get married with the state, so you have a threesome. So basically, it's you, your wife, and the state, and you don't want them to be in your marriage. So I don't recommend that. So if you want to get married, you say to your wife, "You're my wife now," and that's it. So I know the government may say, well, we are going to give you some tax breaks or anything like that if you have kids or if you get married. Don't get into the trap, because they know that they're giving you peanuts just for that, but they're going to get the large amount just for many years by government fees, lawyers fees, for alimony, child support, and all that things that extract effort, time, cash from you, and all those things. So let's keep working with this. So if you get divorced, you have to pay child support. Some people, it's like 33%, 40%, depending on the state or the country that you're in, and then you're going to pay a lot. So imagine if you're earning maybe 4,000 a month, and then half of that is it goes to your kids and your ex-wife, and then you have to live with nothing. And most people, for instance, they're late 60%. That is what I was watching on YouTube. Someone was saying that they are late because they don't earn enough. I mean, we have a fiat currency. We don't have real money like before. Is what you have is just paper. That is why you have to work. It's you, your wife, your kids, your dog. Everyone has to work in order to keep to keep the house, pay taxes and everything, and they don't care about that. So that is the sad reality, but that is how things are. So let's say if you get married and then you get divorced, in this case, you, besides the child support, that is child support, that is why it's called child support, but is some of the fiat that you're paying, it goes to your wife, and she doesn't care about the kids, just it's all for her, doing whatever she wants, and that's it. And the alimony that is for her. If you have been married for more than 10 years, in some states they will say, okay, you have to pay alimony for life. That is crazy. So it's not a very good deal for the men, and you're going to lose 50% or more of the asset. It depends. Some judge will say, okay, I think you will lose 80% of your asset. You keep 20, is 80% for her, and that's it. So it happens. So usually it depends. Some state they will say, okay, 50-50. Another, it depends on the judge. If the judge, he had a bad day or something like that, forget it. And the third is fathers. They, like I said, they keep the custody of the kids. Maybe 17% is like renting a kid, basically. So you are almost not going to see it, or maybe once a week or something like that. So the chances that you're going to have the short stick of the deal is very high. So you're going to lose, because you are a male. That's it. So the lawyer's fees. They have their cut. They are not cheap. They are going to charge you $250, $500, $1,000 an hour, like nothing. It depends if you're a California, New York, or some very crazy state. You're going to pay a lot. You have to pay government fees. You have to pay state fees, cities fee. All those places they have their cut. So. And if you don't pay, you're a criminal. I mean, how come? I mean, you didn't commit any crime. Crime is when you kill, you rob someone, you did, something nefarious. But if you cannot pay because something happens, for instance, there is a crazy virus laying around somewhere, I mean, it's spreading everywhere or something like that. You have a disease like a C19 or A19 or any other virus that you may see in the future. you know, I seen that in a YouTube video. I saw one guy, he was talking with the judge, saying, hey, I lost my job, you know, how can I pay the alimony and the child support, and I mean, what can I do? And the judge, he didn't care. You are just one more guy. And he said, well, if you don't pay, you go to jail. And the guy said, but if I go to jail, how I'm going to be able to pay? We don't care. You're going to find out the money some way. That is crazy. I mean, like I said, George, he read the laws. They don't care. You are one more. Next, okay, and that's it. And also another thing that they can do is they can suspend your driver's license. That is another crazy thing. This is an abuse of authority, because, you know, if they suspend your driver's license, yeah, I mean, if you were driving drunk, okay, I understand. If you were, you know, on drugs meanwhile you were driving, okay, I kind of understand, because you're a danger for the other people around you. But for this, that is like too much. And there are people, you know, regular guys that they don't have like a high skill or anything like that, and if they have a low paying job or anything like that, and they lose it, that's it, they are done. So that is why there are a lot of men that they commit suicide and all the things, because, you know, they cannot cope with this, and they don't want to go to jail or anything like that. And also here 33% is their cut for alimony, so that is, you know, 33%, you're going to be earning 33% less, whatever you're making. Child support, you lose your child basically, because, you know, if you have only 17% of, you know, having your kids or being able to visit your kids or anything like that, it's almost nothing. And if you are a winner, it's maybe 50-50. That's it. But it happens all over the world. At least most of the countries on the West, that is what happens. And another thing, this is the crazy thing here in Argentina. If you cannot pay the child support or anything like that, the judge will say, okay, now your parents have to pay. I mean, that is crazy. Let's say that you found the perfect wife, and you're happy and everything goes well, your kids are doing wonderful, but one of your kids, you know, got married with the wrong woman or anything like that, and you have to pay. You don't have anything to do with the child. I mean, you have your own. Why? Let's say you are in your 70s or 80s or something like that, you have to pay for someone else's child. I mean, that is crazy. Even if it's, you know, your grandson or anything like that. I mean, that is crazy. It should not be like that. You should not pay. You should not pay for the sin or someone else's sins. You know, but that is the crazy. So also peace of mind. You're not going to have any peace of mind. Reputation, time. I mean, is crazy. I mean, your life is going to be a nightmare. So it's better if you move to another place. Also, another thing is, even if your wife has an affair with someone else, she's you, and the kid that you have is not even yours. Is the neighbor's, the milkman or something like that. The church can say, okay, it doesn't matter, you have to pay. That is crazy. That is unbelievable, but it happens very, very often. So. And that is, I mean, you have a lot of risk. Also, here I'm going to tell you some solutions, so how to mitigate these type of problems. So one is not marry the state, and you should never get married anyway. But no cohabitation. If you do that, I mean, even some states, they will say, oh, okay, you have been cohabitating with this wife, this woman for 2 days, done, is your wife or something like that. So I heard that on another channel talking about that. Oh, otherwise, monk life, don't touch any woman or anything like that. Keep them away from you, and that is your best bet. Also, if you are a Christian, make sure read the Bible, where it says no adultery, no fornication, or anything like that, because that is a sin. So it depends. Maybe if you have more questions about that, I can try to leave you a few links about that. But it's something that you have to know. If you marry a woman and you can say, "Oh, now you're my wife," that's it. It's your wife, and you don't have to have paperwork or anything like that saying, "Okay, now she's my wife." That's it. It's your word. You say that, and that's it. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. But like I said, most people, they are plugged into the matrix, and it's very difficult to get rid of the matrix or to get unplugged and live a different type of lifestyle. But once you take the red pill, things are going to be different. Another thing that you can do is prenups. So before you get married, 1 or 2 weeks, she also video record everything. Make sure that she signs the paperwork saying, okay, if I divorce you, I'm keeping nothing. So whatever she brought to the marriage, and that's it. But make sure that you have to talk with an attorney. I'm not an attorney, so talk to an attorney. Make sure that you don't do it, the same day, because I hear some cases saying, okay, well, he told me to sign just 1 day before the ceremony or anything like that, and then I felt the pressure and my dog died, and then I was kind of sad, and then the judge will say, oh, pobrecita, oh, poor little girl, okay, no big deal, and then we'll void the agreement. So make sure that you do everything legally. Talk with 2 or 3 attorneys just in case. Make sure that you are not missing anything, because one guy, if the attorney had a bad day, he forgot something or something like that, it's going to cost you a lot. Do the same thing for the kids. You can have an agreement for the kids. So say, okay, we have any kids. I knew one guy in Israel, and this guy, he had an agreement with the girl. She wasn't even his wife. She said, "Okay, I'm having a kid with you, but the kid is mine, and you do your thing, but you cannot keep it." So, talk with your lawyer, depending on your country. Make sure that you do everything legal, so that you're not going to have any trouble. Another thing that you can do is have a marriage. I mean, if you want to get married, but outside of your country, just in case, like in very poor country, let's say that you have a main business in Europe or in US or something like that, that that if you're living in a very poor country, and you, worst case scenario, you can send some child support or anything like that, you may be using $100, and over here in US or even in Europe, $100 is nothing, but in another poor country you will say, oh, $100, okay, I can buy a mansion or something like that, and then it will not be that bad. Also, you're going to be out of their jurisdiction, and it's going to be more difficult. Anyway, talk with the lawyer. Make sure that you're not going to have any trouble. So those are the things, the risk that you're going to get, and this is how the government they control the population, how to expand the population or decrease. So hopefully this video was useful, and if you have any question, please let me know in the section below, and see you in the next class.